G'day everyone and welcome to Inside Rugby with Mark. If you haven't been here before, my name is Mark. I'm a Kiwi rugby fan who's living here in beautiful Cancun in Mexico. And in this video I'm going to be talking about the Irish rugby team's test schedule for this year. It's now been confirmed and we can talk about who they're going to play during the summer series as well as the autumn series. So let's get into it in this video. G'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're a regular viewer to my channel, thank you for coming back and thank you for your support. If you're here for the first time maybe, well, I hope you stick around. There's plenty of rugby news here on this channel right from across the world. So today I'm going to be talking about the Irish rugby team's schedule for the international series this year. They've confirmed their autumn series, so that means we know what's happening during the summertime as well as the autumn time for the Irish men's 15 team, and it's going to be a very exciting year for international test rugby, that's for sure. As we already know, the next up series for the Irish team is going to be their trip down under to South Africa, and they're going to be playing the Springboks in unfortunately a two-match series. And I say unfortunately because I would have loved to seen, I think like a lot of people, a three-game series in South Africa. That would have been very, very exciting indeed, but we've got to be thankful we've got two. And there's going to be two games, the first on July the 6th, the second 1 week later on July the 13th. And it's going to be a fantastic series, of course, down there in South Africa. As we get closer to those dates, I'll be putting out more and more videos about predictions and talking a lot more about that particular series, how the players have been going so far for this year, who's likely to get picked for that tour, and what I think is going to happen. And then we've got a bonanza of an autumn series for Ireland back home in Dublin, starting on November the 8th when they take on the All Blacks at Aviva Stadium. It's a Friday night game. Kickoff is 8:10 p.m. and it's going to be an incredible game for everybody to watch, whether you're there in person. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do my very best to get over to Dublin to watch that particular game. So if you're from Ireland and you're watching this video, who knows, you might see me at the Aviva Stadium for that All Black game on November the 8th. And then next up for Ireland is a week later on Friday night again. The kickoff time is 8:10 and they'll be taking on the Argentinian Pumas at the Aviva Stadium, and that's going to be a fantastic game as well. So the All Blacks on the first week, the second week is going to be the Argentinian Pumas, and then if that wasn't enough, the week later, but on the Saturday night, it's going to be the Flying Fijians that come to the Aviva Stadium. So that's going to be a cracker of a game. Can the Fijians kick on from their great success at the Rugby World Cup last year, and can they take it up another level to challenge the top teams in the world? We'll have to wait and see until that game on the 23rd of November. And then 1 week later, they'll finish their campaign in Ireland this year, the Irish team, by playing Australia. The Wallabies, of course, under Joe Schmidt this year. That's going to be a fantastic game as well, and I'm sure Joe Schmidt's going to get a very warm welcome at the Aviva Stadium with this Wallabies team. And by the time the Wallabies get there, Joe Schmidt would have had quite a bit of time to get this team cracking. So who knows, that Wallabies Ireland game might be an absolute cracker as well to end the Irish team's campaign at the Aviva Stadium this year. So if you're a rugby fan like me, I'm sure you've got mouth-watering expectations from these games. First of all, the South African series down there in South Africa, and then waiting until the autumn series at the end of the year. Some cracker games kicking off with the All Blacks. And as I said earlier in the video, I'm going to be giving you my predictions as we get closer to those dates on what I think is going to happen in those games. But there's a lot of rugby to be played before then, and we're going to see whether some of these coaches are going to do some experimenting in the earlier games in this particular series that they're going to be playing. It's going to be interesting to see what the All Blacks do under new head coach Razor Robertson, of course, and whether or not he's going to use the Rugby Championship as an opportunity to experiment with some particular players across the All Blacks team. We'll have to wait and see for that. When it comes to Ireland, we've seen their performance in the Six Nations this year, compelling performance from them, winning that competition again, and it's going to be interesting again to see what Andy Farrell does as he heads into his last set of campaigns before he heads off to become the head coach of the British and Irish Lions next year on their tour down under. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see whether or not he experiments a little bit as well, particularly on that tour to South Africa, or do you think he's going to take his top players in particular to that series? Let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to know what you think is going on. And I think when Ireland get home and they've got the All Blacks coming, they've got Argentina, Fiji and the Wallabies, there's going to be some great tests there. Very different styles of rugby for Ireland to play up against in 4 consecutive weeks. It'll be very, very interesting to see how Ireland's able to adapt to each of those different styles of play. I suspect the All Blacks are going to bring a very fast, open and expansive style of play. I think the Argentinians are going to be more forward focused, but we don't know because they're going to be under a new coach this year, and it's going to be interesting to see what style of play they come out and play as well. And then the Fijians, well, we know what to expect from them, whether it be their big running props and hookers right through to their fullback, their big athletic man, and they're going to play that spontaneous, dynamic, amazing brand of rugby that only Fiji knows how to play at that particular style. So that's going to be brilliant for the crowd to see at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin as well on the 23rd of November. Then what's Joe Schmidt going to do with the Wallabies this year, and what team's going to turn up at the Aviva Stadium for the Irish last game at home this year? That's going to be really, really exciting as well. And of course, Joe Schmidt's got a lot of inside knowledge about this Irish team, so you can bet his strategy when it comes to playing Ireland at home is going to be really on point. It's going to be a case of whether or not the Wallaby team that he selects is going to be able to execute that strategy on the day. That's what it's going to come down to. So a feast of international rugby coming up for Ireland this year against the best teams in the world, and also a lot of different styles of rugby, and that's what I'm going to be super interested in watching. Now, I've said a number of times on my video when it comes to watching Ireland play and also Leinster is that any team that wants to beat these two teams have got to score at least 4 tries in the game. So if you look through those particular teams, can the All Blacks score 4 tries against Ireland? Can Fiji, can Argentina, and can the Wallabies? That's going to be the big question I ask before we even go into these series against these respective teams, because I think if you can't score 4 tries against Ireland, then you've got no chance of beating this particular Ireland team. So I think a lot of the coaches are going to be aware of that, and they're going to have to prime themselves and their teams to be able to score more than 30 points against this Irish team just to be in with a shot of being able to beat them. So watch that number in the future. I think it's going to be absolutely pivotal as Ireland goes on their campaigns against South Africa and against the All Blacks, Argentina, Fiji and the Wallabies throughout 2024. Now, if you want to make some early predictions on how Ireland's going to go throughout the rest of this year, let me know in the comments. First up, we've got the Springboks tour down under. My early prediction for this is it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I think the Springboks are going to need at least one game to get themselves playing together and collaborating. I think Ireland's going to hit the ground running in that series, so I wouldn't be surprised if Ireland wins the first game, the Springboks wins the second game, and we're all going to be dying for a third game. That's what's going to come out of that series, I think. And then we head back to Ireland, and we've got the All Blacks, we've got Argentina, we've got Fiji, and we've got the Wallabies. So before I make my predictions on those other games, I'm going to wait to see how those respective teams kick off their international campaigns this year. I want to see how the All Blacks go against England. I want to see how the Wallabies go against Wales, and we'll see how Fiji and Argentina go as well in their respective games they've got coming up before they travel to play against Ireland. So we'll wait and see for that one. So there we go. The Irish international men's 15 campaigns for this year has now been confirmed, and we've got 2 fantastic series. We've got the autumn series at the end of the year throughout November, where if you've got a ticket to go to Aviva Stadium for those 4 games, then it's going to be one of the most sought after tickets in world rugby for this year. There's no doubt about it at all. And don't forget, we've got that amazing Springbok series. If you're watching this video and you're going to go to South Africa to watch that series, let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to know if you're going off to follow the Irish team down to South Africa in the summertime. Okay, well, that's it for this particular video. Don't forget, if you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button right now. Give this video a bit of a thumbs up, and I'll see you again really soon in the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay well, keep enjoying your rugby no matter where you are in the world, and it's time to say adios from beautiful Mexico. Bye for now.